The BC food processing industry is the largest manufacturing industry now in British Columbia.
There's everything from tennis courts to swimming pools to parking lots that end up being on farmland.
In British Columbia, we have the lowest percentage of growers under the age of 35.
Welcome to the Sustainable Region, our look at Metro Vancouver through the lens of sustainability. I'm Dagmar Timmer. Today, we're looking at the food systems that weave around our region. A food system refers to all the processes involved in keeping us fed, from the land that is used to grow and harvest food to its processing, distribution, marketing, and final consumption. Despite the importance of food, the viability of how we currently feed ourselves has become a serious issue. Changes in climate, oil prices, and human populations have been raising flags around the world. High land prices, immense capital costs, aging farmers, and increasing global competition provide additional worries. Will there be enough land or farmers in 100 years? We begin by unpeeling the layers of British Columbia's food system.
Most households are at the tail end of the conventional supply chain, which links harvested food to processors, packers, and warehouses, and to outlets like stores and restaurants. At each stage, value is added through creation of jobs and company profits.
The BC food processing industry is worth $6.7 billion in manufacturing shipments every year. So it's just recently overtaken the wood manufacturing industry as the largest manufacturing industry now in British Columbia. And it's 27,000 jobs that it brings to the economy.
Food can also be bought directly from the farmer's gate, the farmer's market, or the boat dock.
Back in 1995, a whole community of people came together to establish the first farmer's market. And now we're at the point where we see about 15,000 people a week. And our sales now in 2011 will hit about 5 million.
Shadowing all links of the food system is waste. Close to 40% of all food available for sale is estimated to be wasted, with even more spoilage occurring in homes.
The large amount of food that's produced on the farm never even gets to the supermarket because it doesn't qualify as being correct. If there's a blemish in the apples, then they don't make the fresh apple stand.
From local apples to imported oranges, a long list of external forces affects the regional food system, such as government policies and regulations, imports and exports, and individual and cultural tastes. And of course, there's always the weather.
Here last year where we had the flooding issues, that has a huge effect on the global price, because if people are short here, they need to go buy that food from another region, and then that lessens what extra volume they may have.
In recent decades, British Columbia's food system has weathered many changes, and the results are worrying.
Back in the 1970s, we produced 86% of our own vegetables and small fruit in this region. And today we're only producing 43%.
What we saw was the rise of the supermarket. We also saw the rise of the global food import and export markets. So farming here changed as well to respond to that.
Metro Vancouver and the Fraser Valley comprise less than 2% of the province's land base, yet 2006 census data shows that close to a third of the province's farms operate here.
I love all the conveniences we have here, but the urban pressure is making farming very, very difficult, more and more tougher every year. You spread manure, people get upset with that. And blueberries, you have the noise bylaws. They have the noise cannons scaring birds, and there's people upset with that.
With a current population of 2.3 million and expected growth to 3.4 million by 2041, it is little wonder that the pressures of urban development in Metro Vancouver are driving up the price of farmland in the region.
I can tell you it'd be very difficult to start it if I hadn't inherited it. You know, the land alone, you know, agricultural land goes for $80,000 to $100,000 an acre. You know, if you had millions of dollars, you probably wouldn't need to find work. Right?
The costs mount again as the food producers add packaging and processing to their plates.
I grow product, but I have workers doing that. I have the marketing part plus the processing and packing part.
Drew Travis speaks for the growers who supply Lucerne Foods.
We actually own the harvesters, and we have our own field crews out there in Delta harvesting these crops for these growers, because no grower can buy a $500,000 harvester, and you can't just have one.
There used to be much more processing happening here for drying food, juicing it, freezing it, canning it. That doesn't happen in British Columbia anymore.
The pastoral agricultural scenes are gone, as is the ready supply of skills and labor. The average age of BC farmers is 57, and the percentage of farmers under age 35, only 6%.
We need to get new blood into the industry, but it's so expensive because of the price of land, and I don't know what's going to sort out in the long run.
The food system challenges continue beyond the farm hedgerow, with habitat loss, pesticides, fertilizer, and pollution from automobiles eroding ecosystem health. And that's the same ecosystem that our food system relies on. Can the food chain be reconnected? When we come back, we look at ideas that might make a better food system.
Looking for some fun this summer? Then check out our Check It Out guide for Metro Vancouver Regional Parks programs. You'll find activities for all ages. We have events, fun for families, evenings of exploration, and health and wellness programs. Go to our website to find a full list of events, programs, and activities. There's something for everyone at Metro Vancouver Regional Parks. Check it out.
Hi, I'm Dagmar Timmer, and you're watching The Sustainable Region and our look at the complex food system in British Columbia.
Despite a bounty of natural assets, many people felt the flow of the food system needed improving. They wanted a forum to grow ideas, build partnerships, and determine new directions.
Maybe we just need some kind of a food security council or some organization to help develop a food strategy. But then we realized that no other level of government, either federal or provincial, was doing it.
In 2008, with the input from hundreds of voices, Metro Vancouver staff began mapping out the roles, the weaknesses, the strengths, and the potential connections across our regional food system.
We met with farmers, we met with urban gardeners, we met with health authorities, food processors and distributors.
The Vancouver Farmers Market Society represented its members.
What we tried to instill in our involvement was that there's a need to build connections between producers and consumers, building that infrastructure, investing in our food lands.
The result was a strategy released in late 2010. Its purpose is to guide creation of a sustainable, resilient, and healthy food system by using actions that can be taken at the regional level.
The food strategy includes 5 goals and corresponding strategies.
To increase capacity of local food production, improve financial viability of local farmers and food processors, provide access to healthy, diverse, and affordable foods, and protect the ecosystem.
For everyone on the food web, farmers, consumers, associations, businesses, other key stakeholders, and governments, this document provides a pathway for the future.
We've developed a draft food security strategy which has been adopted by the board, and what we're doing now is starting to refine that strategy, coming up with the very first programs during 2011.
The strategy includes dozens of suggested actions for governments and organizations. The first goal of the strategy is to build capacity of local food production. Examples include restoring fish habitat, coordinating water conservation policies, and ensuring that lands zoned for agriculture are used for farming.
There's everything from tennis courts to swimming pools to parking lots that end up being on farmland. And the next step then would be to see how we can get some of the land that isn't being farmed, that is available, back into agriculture.
Welcome back to the Sustainable Region and our look at the regional food system. Today, urban farming represents only 5% of BC's agribusiness, but it is an emerging part of our food system. A new farm school in Richmond is trying to meet the needs of new urban farmers in this small but growing industry.
As a society, we're telling young people you can be anything you want to be, a journalist, a teacher, an artist, a stockbroker, but you can't be a farmer. It's not worth doing.
Our growers are aging, but in British Columbia, we have the lowest percentage of growers under the age of 35.
Our cities and towns are zoned for supermarkets. We eat imported food from around the world that is brought to us very cheaply. And we have a situation where people have lost their connection to the food lands and they've lost their connection to the farmers.
In BC, the double challenge of aging farmers with no one to replace them and a weak tie to the food lands paints a bleak picture.
We've talked a little bit about a balance between...
But over the last 3 years, a group of academics, activists, and community organizations in Richmond have been developing a solution. The Richmond Farm School at Kwantlen Polytechnic University.
We noticed there just was not a practical training program, kind of a farming 101 that people could take to get them started. So we sat around and brainstormed of what a farm school could look like.
Instrumental in the program's development is Kent Mullenix. Kent's background combines practical farming with academic expertise. He holds 2 PhDs in agricultural education and plant science and owned and ran a family farm for 15 years. He was a key player in developing the Richmond Farm School's unique approach.
There's no entrance requirements to the farm school. There's no tests, no exams, no assignments.
Instead, it's a 10-month hands-on program built around a full growing cycle. Students create their own educational experiences based on the type of farming they want to do.
We try and focus on giving them a breadth of experience. Everything from planning to actual operations, setting up new projects, working at the orchard, working at the farm.
Anna speaks from experience. She was part of the school's first graduating class and has returned as its coordinator.
It definitely answers all your unanswered questions. Whether you're totally new and you want to know how you plant a seed to a complicated pest management question.
So you see these are the vegetative buds?
Yeah. The teachers here are all professionals and they're involved in their fields, whether it's in research or in business.
Anna, like many of the students, is building her dream to be an urban farmer, thanks to a unique component of the Richmond Farm School, incubator plots.
Myself and another student from last year were farming in the city of Richmond in an incubator plot, which is part of this program. So for the next 3 years, we're going to be kind of farmers with training wheels.
Incubator plots address a major barrier facing most new farmers in Metro Vancouver, the soaring price of real estate.
Land is incredibly expensive, and there really is no agriculture that would support the cost of agriculture land in southwest British Columbia.
Yeah, me too, huh?
Yeah, me too. Graduates of the farm school have access to what we're calling incubator farm sites, and they have up to 3 years that they can lease that land for a very affordable rate, and they basically come up with their own business plan depending on what they're interested in, what style of production they want, and how they're going to be marketing.
Both of these students are shifting careers after years in the food industry. One plans to grow specialty garlic on a 1-acre plot.
The good thing about the incubator plot is I can make mistakes, and it's only a couple $100 a year to lease the land. But not too many mistakes, because I got to make money next year too, right?
So one of the things I wanted to point out is our bioregion is extremely unique in the world. We are graduating new farmers who want to start growing food very quickly, but they also want to do it in a way that's ecologically friendly. Most of them want to do organic production.
This is an approach at the heart of the Richmond Farm School: human-centered agriculture on small tracts of land. This differs from a trend towards large-scale agribusiness and monocropping. And for Kent, this distinction highlights the farm school philosophy.
The research is clear. Ecologically intensive agriculture, organic agriculture, is as productive as conventional agriculture.
1 to 2 acres, using smaller equipment that doesn't obviously cost quite as much, looking at doing more labor in their production.
Kent and his colleagues see this approach as the path to re-energizing our agricultural industry and a way to rebuild the lost connection to the foodlands.
We're convinced that municipalities will play a critical role in advancing local regional agri-food systems because they are the level of government closest to the people, closest to communities, and that's what this kind of farming is all about.
What we have seen in the last year is, with the help of Farm School, 5 new farms started in Richmond, which is just mind-blowingly exciting to have so much young energy back in our food system.
You become the change you want to see in the world, so you become a farmer and you feed people the way you'd want to be fed.
We need to create an agri-food system that is this fundamental expression of our relationship with Earth, that reflects our desire to nurture Earth and to sustain it and sustain ourselves in the process.
One item that isn't listed in a cost accounting ledger is the services of the ecosystem. Air and water is cleaned, nutrients are cycled, and the climate is regulated, all basically for free. Today I'm in a blueberry field, and I'm going to look at native bees and the pollination services that they provide. In BC, the blueberry industry is worth $98 million. You may be familiar with the honeybee pollination system that most growers use, in which hives for non-native honeybees are rented. This time, though, we're looking at bees that do not live in boxed hives, but rather are indigenous to the Fraser Valley area. Dr. Ellie and her team spend a lot of time in fields just like this, studying native bees. Hello, Dr. Ellie.
Hi.
Now, what kind of bees are we talking about here?
Well, British Columbia has about 450 species of native bees. Our native bees range in size from tiny sweat bees that are just a couple of millimeters long to bumblebees that are about half as big as your thumb. Some of them nest in the ground and some nest in wood. They come in most colors, like blue and green, as well as red, yellow, and orange. So our native bees are incredibly diverse.
So we're here in Gaskin Farms in Port Coquitlam. What brings your research team here?
Well, the owner, Sid Qantas, is one of the many growers that has been generous enough to allow us to do our research on their property. We want to figure out what species of bees are here, but to do that, we have to catch them. using nets.
Ah.
Want to help?
Yeah, gladly.
Okay, well, so to catch a bee, you actually want to get up under it and scoop up and then snap your net so that the bee winds up getting to the end of your net so it can't get out. Want to try?
Yeah, sure.
Not bad, not bad.
Okay.
Well, come on, why don't we try to catch some?
Okay.
There's one there on the flower.
Oh, yeah,
So try
got
to get
him.
up underneath. And scoop. Hey.
Hey, I got him.
Why don't we put this into a vial so we can get a closer look at her? Their common name is the yellow-fronted bee because of that beautiful little yellow face she has. She's actually a queen, and you can see one of the things that makes these bees so good at flying in the cold, wet weather. You know, she's furry, she's big, she's buzzing a lot, and that's what makes her a good pollinator. We also caught another little bee. This is a sweat bee. You can see the difference in size.
See, I would never think that's even a bee unless you look right up close to it.
I know. We're interested in measuring the pollination deficit. If we do better than the bees do, that means there's not enough pollination happening in the field. The growers might want to use more honeybees than they're currently using, or maybe they want to do something to enhance habitat and encourage more native bees to take up residence in their fields.
In Delta, Earthwise Farm is also raising awareness about native pollinators. Together with the Delta Chamber of Commerce, they hosted a spring plant sale that highlighted native bees.
But we've tried to make it easy for people, so we have developed 3 different starter kits. By planting specific plants that we'll recommend to people, you can make sure that there's always something in flower in your garden that bees are going to like from early spring until fall.
Delta is very much an agricultural community, and when you see the contribution that the agricultural community makes not only to the municipality of Delta but the Lower Mainland and British Columbia as a whole, it's important that we got on board with Earthwise to help people understand why it's so important to feed the bees.
We've only been at this site for 4 years, and so it's amazing to me what's happened in 4 years. We want people to know that we're here in the community, that we're a resource for the community.
I live in the neighborhood and we actually have some mason bees in our yard, and I'm looking forward to growing some native species into our garden that's filled with tropicals at the moment.
If you're a business owner, think of the ground cover that you're placing in front of your business, and why not take up a portion of turf and plant plants that are going to attract bees and other pollinators.
Here are some more websites where you can learn more about native pollinators in our regional food system.
One goal of the regional food strategy is to help people make healthy and sustainable food choices. One approach is to enhance food awareness at a young age.
Let's grab a seat on the picnic benches and then we'll let you know what we're doing today. So what we're going to be doing today is you're going to go into your garden, and I think Ms. Rollins has the map. The Terra Nova Schoolyard project is a project that connects children with the earth, the land, agriculture, environment. So children either walk here or they bike here every second week, and they learn to grow the food. My background is culinary arts. I worked in hotels and restaurants in the early part of my life. Connection between the culinary arts and gardening is really important because a lot of people grow food but they don't know what to do with it afterwards. Did anybody kill a bug? No. What if you kill it?
You eat
it. Eat it, okay.
So being a chef, it's really easy to go and into the garden, pick a whole variety of ingredients and just pop it into the kitchen.
Have a nibble. And it's nice and sweet.
I usually see the same children throughout the whole year, and we meet about 18 times.
Thank you. Thanks, Sierra.
We do a lesson on soil science.
Come and get a shovel.
We talk about composting. We teach them about planting and crop management. In the fall, we bring in manure, and so they're doing soil amendments, which is a lot of fun.
I have never seen any project that's got so much worthwhile outdoor education for the kids and learning about plants and growing and where their food comes from and how to become more sustainable.
They need to see their little space as a part of a global picture. And when they see it from a distance, or when they see the rest of the farm and the community gardens, then they really realize that what they're doing in their little 6 square feet each is making a huge impact on a global system. The space is owned by the City of Richmond. The partners here include the Kwantlen Farm School, the Richmond Fruit Tree Sharing Project, the community gardeners. It's a huge community and a huge family of people that share one little space. It's only 65 acres on this side. It may seem small, but it is just a smaller part of a global system. They are going home, they're asking questions, they're asking for specific foods. They begin to vote with their food dollars. It's not just impacting the children, it impacts their parents, it impacts their relatives, it's impacting the teachers, principals, the school district, the people who work with them, beside them. We're building a whole new generation of people who appreciate what farming and agriculture really is.
The Regional Food System Strategy has performance measures that are regularly assessed. Take a look for yourself at metrovancouver.org/regional food system. Well, that's it for today's show, but if you find yourself looking at your lunch a little bit differently tomorrow, then we've done our job. Please share your thoughts. You can reach us by phone at 604-436-6794 or email us at sustainableregion@metrovancouver.org. or watch all our videos online at metrovancouver.org/videos. I'm Dagmar Timmer. Thanks for watching.